what is meaning for you, and what is being meaningful with your money?
Yeah, great question. Money is a great servant, but a lousy master. It's only ever a means to an end, never an end in itself. People who pursue money for its own sake, you don't want to go out for dinner with those people. They're generally very unpleasant. They're very greedy. They'll tread on anybody to get where they want to go. But I spend my life working with clients, and it might surprise many listeners to know that the actual money side of what we do is probably 1/10 of where we spend our efforts. The vast majority of what I do is getting to know my clients really well, really well, understanding what they want to achieve and really drilling down onto that and really understanding what they care about. Very often it's family. Very often it's giving their own kids, a start in life that they never had. It's supporting the causes that they're passionate about. My job is to find out what really matters to these people, what's meaningful to them, and then making the money fit. And so essentially that's meaning is unique to each individual. I don't particularly ever want to retire, in a sense. From what you said right at the beginning, it's about being able to work for the fun of it rather than because I have to. So I'm pursuing that, but not aggressively. I'm not in a FIRE movement person, where I want to, retire before I'm 40. Too late for that anyway. I'm 46. So do you know what I mean? Each to their own. But for me, I just want to enjoy life in the present, store it well for the future, and keep doing what I'm doing till I drop, really, or until my wife tells me to stop.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's amazing. I think for me, meaning is finding your meaning. Like, the meaning of life is to find your meaning. So it's about experience your life to the fullest, living a good life. And for me, it's helping other people to gain their freedom, essentially by helping them with their money, and by having more money gives you better access to choices, and choices can lead to having freedom. So and also finding, I've thought about this quite a lot, actually. I'm writing my second book, actually, and part of it is talking about freedom. I wasn't confident enough to write about freedom in my first book, and I think I've kind of thought about it a lot more. And for me, it's about finding your unique talent. So we as humans all have kind of strengths and weaknesses, and it's doubling down on our strengths and almost getting other people to help you for your weaknesses. As a business owner myself, you can outsource a lot of the stuff and can double down on what you're good at. I'd like to think I'm quite good at explaining things simply and easily in a kind of a fun way. And it's essentially, meaning for me is about, finding out where you can make the greatest contribution and do it. That's essentially that. It's a bit deeper, meaningful, but that's
true
though.
What
I'm thinking about.
And money's only purpose is to support that stuff. If it gives you the freedom to be able to pursue that stuff more readily, then it's served its purpose. I often say money is an enabler.
Yeah.
But it's also a disabler if you don't get it right. You might want to retire at 60 so that you can spend more time ballroom dancing or whatever. But if you don't have the income or the assets to support that, then you're not going to be able to, are you? So it's an enabler and a disabler. And it's really important. Money is very important, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it needs to be put in its place.
And you mentioned the FIRE movement, which I'm a big believer in. I think the FIRE movement is great. It's kind of changed the mindset of the old model of retiring at 65, where actually if I have enough assets, you're financially independent. For me, it's more about being independent and self-reliant, and it's not about retiring early. For me, in my first book, Millennial Money Mindset, I talk about not necessarily being financially independent and retire early. It's more about I talk about fish. So it's financial independence and seeking happiness. Whereas actually it's finding out what you want to do with your life. And once you have enough money, then you can kind of wake up each morning and decide what to do with your day. And that's fantastic. You can pick up, I have a son, I'm going to pick him up from school later on. If I was kind of stuck in a 9 to 5, I might not be able to do that because I'm kind of in this chain to the desk. And this, I think, what you said about money being an enabler is really powerful. I haven't heard that. You might have mentioned it on your podcast, but that's really powerful for me. That's quite a good point you make there.
Cool.
Money mindset.